The morning light drifts through the curtains, soft and golden. Somewhere in the quiet suburbs, Eleanor sits on the edge of her bed. Her hands rest on her knees, feeling the stiffness in her lower back. She breathes slowly, listening to the gentle hum of a new day. It's a familiar ache, one that has followed her for years. She used to walk by the lake every sunrise, greeting the world in motion. Now she watches from her window, the world still turning without her. Her shoes sit by the door, waiting, patient and dusty. Eleanor smiles faintly, remembering the rhythm of her younger steps. But memory alone does not move the body. She closes her eyes, feeling the pull of time and the weight of stillness. Then a voice from yesterday returns, her physiotherapist's calm tone. Try the knee-to-toe bend, Eleanor, gentle, slow, every morning. A simple move, yet filled with quiet challenge. She looks down at her toes, distant and daring. And in that moment, something inside whispers, maybe today. The day begins not with pain, but with possibility. Eleanor takes her first breath toward change. And the story of her movement begins again. Eleanor stands by the kitchen window, her hands wrapped around a cup of tea. Steam curls softly into the morning air, carrying warmth to her tired fingers. Outside, the neighborhood awakens with quiet motion, footsteps, laughter, a barking dog. She watches it all like a distant spectator, as if the world belongs to another rhythm. Her lower back aches with the dull persistence of habit. Every bend, every stretch, feels like a memory of what she once could do. She sighs, setting the cup down, feeling the stiffness settle into her bones. The kettle clicks, the clock ticks, and time moves with patient indifference. She remembers the mornings by the lake, the cool breeze, the shimmer of sunlight. She used to walk briskly, greeting joggers, waving to familiar faces. Now she hesitates at her own doorstep, unsure if her legs still remember the path. The doctor's words echo in her mind, gentle yet firm. Keep moving, Eleanor. The body listens to what you repeat. But what if the body no longer listens? What if it forgets how to trust itself? That thought lingers like a shadow at the edge of her mind. Yesterday, her physiotherapist smiled and showed her something new. A simple movement, almost laughably easy at first glance. Knee-to-toe bend, he called it, as if it were a secret spell. He stood tall, feet apart, and bent forward slowly. Not rushing, not forcing, just breathing through the motion. Don't try to touch your toes, he said softly. Just listen to your body. Eleanor watched him, curious, doubtful, yet oddly drawn to the simplicity. Could such a small motion awaken what years of pain had silenced? That night, she thought about it while brushing her hair. The mirror showed a face that had seen seasons of laughter and loss. But behind those eyes, a spark of quiet determination began to glow. The next morning, she stood by her bed, steadying her breath. She placed her feet shoulder-width apart, just like he showed her. Her knees trembled slightly as she bent forward. The pull in her back was sharp, unfamiliar but not cruel. She stopped breath and let the air fill her chest. Her hands hovered just above her knees. That was enough for now. She stayed there still, breathing into the stretch. For the first time in years, she didn't rush to escape the discomfort. Instead, she noticed the rhythm of her breath syncing with her body. It wasn't grace, it wasn't perfection, it was presence. When she straightened, her spine felt awake, like it remembered something. She smiled faintly, almost shyly, and whispered, "Maybe again tomorrow." Outside, the morning light brightened the edge of her window. The world kept moving, and this time, Eleanor moved with it. Not far, not fast, but enough to begin again. And in that small motion, a quiet promise was made. To keep bending, to keep breathing, to keep believing in the body's gentle return to life. The next day arrives with the soft hum of early sunlight through the curtains. Eleanor sits on the edge of her bed, her feet touching the floor, steady and slow. Her mind whispers excuses, too tired, too stiff, maybe tomorrow. But her heart answers, gentle and certain, today is good enough. She stands, places her hands on her thighs, and straightens her spine. The room is quiet, except for the faint ticking of the wall clock. She remembers her physiotherapist's voice, calm and patient. Don't rush the movement. Let your body find its own rhythm. Eleanor inhales deeply, feeling her ribs expand beneath her hands. She bends her knees slightly, soft and cautious, as if greeting an old friend. Her back stretches, slow and deliberate, a language she is learning again. The first few inches feel heavy, resistant, almost like defiance. But she keeps breathing, letting the motion follow her breath. Her fingertips hover near her knees, not close to her toes yet. Still, there's a flicker of pride in her chest, quiet but real. She stays there for a moment, holding the pose, listening inward. Each breath softens the tension that years of stillness had built. She straightens slowly, feeling the spine unfold like a waking vine. Her shoulders relax, her neck loosens, her eyes close in calm relief. The movement is small, but the feeling is wide and deep. She repeats it again. Inhale, bend, exhale, rise. The rhythm becomes a whispering dance between breath and motion. With each bend, the stiffness yields a little more, surrendering to patience. Her knees creak but do not complain. They are simply remembering use. The morning light slides across her face, warm like quiet encouragement. She realizes that this moment, this exact breath, is what healing feels like. It's not sudden or loud. It's slow, like roots growing in silence. After a few minutes, she stops and leans against the wall. Her pulse is steady, her body humming with a soft, earned energy. She smiles, her lips curving into something she hasn't felt in months, contentment. The thought crosses her mind. Maybe I can go a little lower tomorrow. It's not ambition, it's curiosity. Curiosity to see what her body still holds, what it still remembers. Later that day, she writes in her small notebook by the window. Day 2, bent a little deeper, felt a little stronger. Breathing helps. The words are simple, but they carry the weight of transformation. Each line feels like a quiet conversation with herself, kind and forgiving. Outside, children ride bicycles, laughter floating through the air. Eleanor watches them with a tender smile, her fingers resting on her knees. The world no longer feels distant, it feels reachable again. Tomorrow will come, and she will bend again. Not to touch her toes, but to touch her life, one breath at a time. The rain taps gently against the window, steady and calm. Eleanor sits at her kitchen table, a notebook open beside her tea. She traces the date with her finger and writes, Day 10. Outside, the garden shimmers with drops of silver light. Inside, she feels a quiet rhythm growing within her. The knee-to-toe bend has become her morning ritual, like prayer in motion. Each day she bends a little deeper, breathes a little slower, stands a little taller. But today, she wonders why such a small movement feels so powerful. She opens her laptop and types, benefits of knee-to-toe bends. A world of gentle wisdom fills the screen. She reads about muscles she'd forgot, hamstrings, calves, spine, core. She learns that each bend wakes up blood flow, feeds oxygen to tired tissues. That bending forward stretches the back, while rising builds strength. That breathing during the motion tells the body, you are safe. She leans back in her chair, smiling at the science behind her small miracle. It feels comforting to know her efforts have reason, not just hope. She reads on, discovering how movement and memory share the same space. That every stretch teaches the brain to trust the body again. That flexibility is not only about joints, but about courage. She pauses, letting the words settle like soft rain on her thoughts. For so long she believed aging meant shrinking in body. in motion, in spirit. But now, with every gentle bend, she feels herself expanding again. The ache in her back no longer feels like punishment, but conversation. Her body is speaking, and for the first time she's listening. She stands up, barefoot on the cool kitchen floor, and begins to move. Feet shoulder-width apart, knees soft, arms loose by her sides. She inhales, bends forward slowly, exhaling through her nose. Her hands glide past her knees, reaching toward her toes. Not forcing, just following the flow of breath. She feels her spine lengthen, her muscles awaken, her heart steady. Every breath feels like a bridge between who she was and who she's becoming. She rises, slow and strong, her body alive in the present moment. The motion feels almost sacred, small, yet endlessly meaningful. She thinks of others her age who sit in silence, afraid to move. She wishes they could feel this, the quiet joy of rediscovering. The understanding that movement is not about youth, but about life itself. She writes another note in her book, her handwriting steady. Movement teaches patience. Stillness teaches gratitude, both heal. The rain outside softens to a mist, the world rinsed clean. Eleanor places her hand on her back, feeling warmth instead of pain. She looks out the window, whispering to herself with a smile. This is how healing sounds, like rain, like breath, like beginning. Weeks pass, and the days begin to blend into a soft rhythm of light and movement. Eleanor wakes earlier now, her body anticipating the stretch before her mind does. The stiffness that once greeted her every morning has softened into quiet strength. Her reflection in the mirror seems a little brighter, her shoulders less heavy. She bends forward with ease, her fingertips hovering near her toes. The distance that once felt impossible is now just a breath away. Each morning, she greets her reflection with a small nod of pride. "Good morning, Eleanor," she whispers. "Let's move again." The first bend still carries resistance, but it no longer feels like defeat. Her breath guides her like a slow tide, pulling her into calm persistence. The mirror shows not perfection but progress, and that is enough. Her back no longer burns with pain. Instead, it hums with quiet vitality. She straightens, smiling at the small miracle of comfort. Outside, the trees sway in rhythm with her slow, deliberate breathing. Her movements have become a kind of meditation, steady, grounded, forgiving. With each repetition, she feels her confidence root deeper inside her chest. She's not chasing youth, she's reclaiming connection. One morning, her neighbor, Clara, knocks on the door with a basket of apples. They sit together, sipping tea, the conversation drifting like sunlight on water. Eleanor mentions her daily stretches, half shy, half proud. Clara laughs softly. "I can barely reach my knees these days." Eleanor smiles and replies, "Then start there. That's where I began too." They stand together by the window, side by side, two silhouettes of quiet courage. Eleanor shows her how to place her feet, how to bend without rushing. Clara giggles, wobbles, and straightens again. "I feel like a child learning to bow." Eleanor laughs too, the sound light and full of life. The room fills with warmth, with shared effort, with something hopeful. For the first time in years, Eleanor feels not just strong but connected. The movement that once belonged to her alone now reaches another heart. After Clara leaves, Eleanor sits down and writes in her notebook again. "Today I taught someone to bend. Healing grows when shared." The words make her pause, her eyes soft with gratitude. She never thought small motion could lead to such large moments. The next morning, when she bends again, her heart feels lighter. Her body no longer moves out of discipline, but out of joy. The pain that once held her hostage has turned into gentle guidance. It reminds her to move, not to fear. She touches her toes for the first time since she can remember. And when she rises, tears blur her reflection, not of sadness but triumph. She whispers to her mirror, breathless and smiling. I did it. And the world outside seems to bend and breathe along with her. The morning sun filters through the park trees, scattering light on the dewy grass. Eleanor walks slowly down the familiar path, her steps light and sure. The cool air brushes her face, and her lungs fill with a clean, bright calm. She pauses near the lake, watching ripples shimmer beneath the rising sky. Her body feels awake, alive, and grounded in the quiet rhythm of morning. It's been months since she began her small routine of knee-to-toe bends. What once felt like struggle has become something close to joy. Her spine, once stiff and unyielding, now moves with ease and grace. Her back no longer argues with her, it speaks, and she listens. Nearby, a group of her friends from the neighborhood gather for their daily walk. They notice Eleanor standing tall, her posture radiant with quiet pride. Clara waves from across the path, smiling wide and bright. Show us that bend of yours again, Eleanor, she calls, laughing. Eleanor chuckles and nods, stepping into the sunlight with ease. She plants her feet, bends her knees gently, and reaches toward her toes. Her movement is slow, deliberate, and full of calm strength. When she straightens, the group claps lightly, their laughter echoing in the air. I can't even touch my ankles, one man jokes, shaking his head. Eleanor grins. You don't have to, just breathe and begin. They follow her lead, hesitant at first, then growing more confident. The park fills with the sight of silver hair bending and rising like soft waves. Laughter mingles with birdsong, a chorus of life rediscovered. No one is rushing, no one is competing. They are simply moving, breathing, being. Eleanor feels her chest warm with something deep and peaceful. It's more than exercise, it's connection, it's renewal, it's shared grace. She looks around and realizes how many mornings she once spent alone. How stillness had turned into solitude, and solitude into silence. Now, that silence has been replaced by laughter and motion. Her journey has rippled outward, like water disturbed by a single pebble. Every small movement has reached another heart. And that, she thinks, might be the true purpose of healing. Not just to fix what was broken, but to remind others they can begin too. Later, as the sun climbs higher, the group sits beneath the trees. They share tea, stories, and the soft satisfaction of effort well spent. Clara leans over and whispers, "You started something beautiful, Eleanor." Eleanor smiles, her eyes glistening with humble joy. "Maybe I just remembered something we all forgot," she says softly. That movement belongs to everyone. A breeze passes through the park, gentle and kind. The leaves dance, the water sparkles, and Eleanor feels deeply at peace. She closes her eyes, takes a slow breath, and lets gratitude fill her chest. For the bend, for the breath, and for the life that moves with her once again. Evening settles gently over the town, the sky painted in shades of gold and lavender. Eleanor sits by her window, her notebook resting on her lap. The pages are filled with neat handwriting, each line a quiet record of her journey. She flips back to the first page where shaky words read, "Day 1, I could barely bend." She smiles softly, tracing the sentence with her fingertip. It feels like a lifetime ago, like the voice of someone she once knew. The woman who wrote those words was uncertain, careful, almost afraid. But the woman sitting here now breathes with ease, her body no longer a burden. The gentle aches that once controlled her have turned into reminders of strength. Each stretch, each breath, has taught her something beyond movement. It has taught her patience, the art of allowing instead of forcing. It has taught her kindness, to treat her body not as an enemy but a companion. She looks out at the fatting light, where the trees sway in quiet rhythm. Their branches bend with the wind, yet never break. Eleanor understands them now, in a way she never did before. Bending is not weakness, it is resilience. She closes her eyes and remembers the faces from the park. Clara's laughter, the group's shared effort, the joy that filled the morning air. They still meet every few days, still bending, still learning. Some can reach their toes now, others can't, but it doesn't matter. The beauty lies in the motion itself, in the courage to keep showing up. Eleanor writes another line in her notebook. Progress isn't touching your toes, it's touching your courage. She pauses, letting the words breathe on the page. A gentle breeze moves through the open window, carrying the scent of jasmine. She takes a deep, grateful breath, feeling her spine rise and fall with it. The body, she thinks, is like the seasons, changing, adapting, returning. It never truly stops growing, even when it slows down. For years she thought aging meant losing herself piece by piece. Now she sees it differently. It's a process of soft returning. Returning to awareness, returning to breath, returning to self. The world outside darkens, stars beginning to flicker in the distance. Eleanor leans back, her notebook still open on her knees. She whispers softly to herself, I am still learning to move. And the words sound less like confession, more like celebration. Her journey doesn't end with reaching her toes. It continues in every motion. In every moment she chooses to rise, bend, and begin again. She stands slowly, her body light and balanced. One last time before bed, she bends forward, gentle and sure. Her fingertips brush the tops of her toes with ease and grace. When she straightens, she smiles at the quiet room around her. This is not the end, she thinks. It's simply another beginning. And in that thought, she feels both grounded and free, perfectly, peacefully alive. Morning returns, gentle and golden, painting light across Eleanor's floor. She stands by the window, breathing in the quiet rhythm of a new day. Her body feels open, calm, and steady, like the earth after rain. She bends forward slowly, her fingertips brushing her toes with ease. The motion feels like music, familiar, soft, and deeply human. Each breath carries gratitude, each stretch speaks of renewal. She no longer counts days or distances, she counts moments of peace. Outside, the lake glimmers beneath the rising sun, alive with small ripples. Eleanor smiles, remembering how far she's come, not in distance but in grace. The knee-to-toe bend has become her language of healing. A reminder that strength is quiet, patient, and full of heart. She whispers to herself, keep moving, keep breathing, keep beginning. And the words feel like a promise she'll always keep. Life bends just as she does, and still finds its way back to balance. Eleanor straightens, standing tall beneath the soft morning light. Her journey continues, one breath, one bend, one beautiful day at a time.